What do you think about having 6-year-olds in so many schools go to...
You'll find this to be interesting. I have a suspicion that some, not my close friends, but some of my more peripheral friends have this false notion that I've been radicalized.
That's crazy. Why would people think that Julie Hartman's being radicalized? I mean, she doesn't trust any institution. She doesn't trust anybody except, those that Dennis gives a kosher certification to. Why would they think that she's in some kind of cult? Why would they think she's being radicalized? Why would they see any parallel between, PragerU and QAnon? This is crazy talk. Crazy, I tell you. This is nuts.
Because they truly believe that the things that I just mentioned to you, which are 100% true, and by the way, shouldn't even be deemed right-wing beliefs because they're just facts. They think that those things are conspiracy theories. They think that I have gone onto QAnon. Again, whatever the hell QAnon is, I still don't know.
Why would people think that she's been radicalized? Right? She doesn't trust any institution. Right? She doesn't trust anyone. Why would they think she's in a cult?
Do a lot of conservative research, never met anyone who's been on QAnon, never heard of it before the left made a huge deal of it. They think that I go on these like crazy rabbit hole, radical right-wing sites and come up with these conspiracy theories that are totally fact and mainstream. I mean, I know it seems obvious to say, but it just, I can't believe that this is our world. There are really bad things going on. And they think it's just made up.
That's why I told you these two.
Crazy.
Gosh.
Crazy.
Yeah, so
why would people think that?
I get the sense that a lot of them want to distance themselves from me because they think I'm nuts.
I think we'll end with this.
Why would people want to distance themselves from me when all I could talk about was Dennis Prager for years? Why would people want to, laugh at me when I was just mailing out, Dennis Prager tapes to everyone I do? But why did they think I was crazy that I'd ended some kind of...
I got a question from a young person on my fireside chat.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know, I do a fireside chat
Okay, this is like galaxy brain stuff here, guys. This is a revolutionary theory, and it sounds incredibly profound. It does. It's very convincing, very persuasive.
week for PragerU. There are a lot of viewers around the world, mostly young people. And it's a half hour every week. We've done 260. So that's a lot. You can really binge. Anyway, I got a question from some young person somewhere. How do I know what's true? It's a very, very real question. So I like being under pressure because I do my best under pressure. Others are different, but I do.
I do too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Unlike mere mortals, right, Dennis Prager does his best under pressure.
That's interesting.
Because of all my swimming.
Oh, that's right. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't swim. I mean, I can swim, but not competitively.
So in another video, Julie tells Dennis, I am turning into you. Like, she's adopting all of, a lot of his habits and hobbies. She's, now drinking coffee like Dennis Prager drinks coffee.
Anyway, I came up with an interesting answer. I came up with a few answers. What do you think of this answer? I said, those who wish to censor others are usually lying.
And that sounds incredibly profound. I mean, that sounds right. That's very persuasive. Bell says, my mom says, I hate Luke. He talks about himself too much. I said, it's the Luke Ford show. It's mostly learning about Luke's world, books, articles, videos. Oh, man.
And I'd never come up with that answer because it's a very good question. How do you know who's telling on any given, is it the left or the right? Well, if you are telling the truth, you are okay with those who differ with you speaking their minds.
And in fact, you want them to.
That's right.
Because it exposes them.
Yeah, like why would anyone care, right? If, ISIS, has its own channel on YouTube, right? Because you're okay with other people speaking their minds. Why would anyone care if Al-Qaeda had their own channel on YouTube? Why would anyone care if people were promoting on social media, like drinking bleach or, doing all sorts of, dangerous or unhealthy things? Like, why would anyone care? You only care, guys, if you're lying, right? There's something nefarious about you if you're one of those damn democratic satanic pedophile. So, man, apparently I've got a parasocial relationship with Art Bell, but his mother won't get into a parasocial relationship with me. Like, is your mother not looking for a parasocial relationship? A debonair, kindly, far-seeing, prescient, galaxy brain, YouTube personality? I mean, what does she do with all her spare time if she's not interested in forming parasocial relationships? YouTube personality. 40 earned your 6 YouTube viewers the old-fashioned. Luke left out the payments from PragerU to get fake views from in-year views on his lame content. Good times, man. When I don't do a show for like 5 days and then I come back, I feel strong. I'm invigorated. Oh my God, we've got, Victor Davis Hanson speaking to Jesse Waters. How could I possibly resist? Okay, so some people like me prefer their virtual father, Dennis Prager, to their real father. So Dennis tells people, it's very important to respect your parents, have the best possible relations with your family and friends that you possibly can. But the net effect of his teachings on many people is to drive people apart. So I was bedridden in my 20s with chronic fatigue syndrome, and I spent thousands of dollars, almost all my savings, not on getting well, but on sending Dennis Prager tapes to my friends, many of whom did not listen to them. They laughed at me. They thought I had lost my mind, and they were right. In 1989, I wrote a letter to Dennis Prager to tell him what his teachings had done for me. He wrote back, "I received many letters, but few have touched me as much as yours. Get better. You are needed in the fight for good values." So I would wager that Dennis Prager has written over 1,000 letters or emails that contain that sentence. "I received many letters, but few have touched me as much as yours." He is so good with those lines that make you feel amazing. So from the perspective of today, I'm not sure I would have made it through this dark time in my life, bedridden with chronic fatigue syndrome for 6 years in my 20s, if not for Dennis's kindness and attention to me and his enrollment of me in the fight for good values. My life now had a purpose, right? Hero system is a biological necessity. So Friday, January 28, 1994, Tampa Bay, Florida, I met Dennis Prager for the first time. Next day, we spoke privately for 10 minutes. He said it gave him great comfort that if anything happened to him, I would be there to carry on his battle for good values. I was overwhelmed. Years later, I realized, this is a line he's used with dozens, if not hundreds of people. All right, Dennis says that Douglas Murray is his favorite English thinker. So, polemicists of a feather flock together. Gurus respect the game of other gurus. Those who are working a solid angle respect their fellow anglers. On the other hand, scholars aren't fans of hacks and hackers. Dennis says that when he reads criticism of him, it has absolutely no effect. It might, affect lesser mortals, but it doesn't affect Dennis. When I read, so here we go, 1:19:10. So just didn't cue things up, right? The more prep you do, the better the show. I didn't do quite as much prep as I should have, and you're suffering because of my sins.
To you, and I'm not alone just announcing it. If when I read, and there are many people who hate my guts, you just explore the internet and you'll find it, and I think it has no effect on me, none whatsoever.
None, by the way, none. Truly, I thought maybe it would have 1% of an effect on you. It doesn't.
Yeah, correct. But it does.
My father would say that all the time, that criticism, personal attacks just had no effect on him. And people around us say, "Oh yeah, criticism just rolls off your father's back." It's not true. Like if you're around Dennis Prager in person, you can see that if he's pricked, he bleeds. Like if he gets sharp, pointed criticism, it causes him pain. He is not exempt from the concerns and the fragilities and the vulnerabilities of mere mortals. I've interviewed thousands of people in my life, and one thing that struck me from doing that is everybody has considerable number of vulnerabilities. Like everybody's more vulnerable than I perceive them. So this idea that the criticism doesn't bother him at all. In fact, he wishes he had more of it. But good faith criticism, like intellectually honest criticism, that's what he longs for.
Tell me about it doesn't tell me about you if you disagree with me. But if you hate, it doesn't tell me anything about me. It tells me everything about you.
Okay, so if you hate the pollution of the public discourse, you're going to hate Dennis Prager. It's not going to be the only emotion you have to him. You'll appreciate his humor. You'll appreciate his wisdom when he is wise. You'll appreciate the good things that he does. But you will hate him for polluting public discourse.